Let's go to Saturday. We'll hit a couple of the games on Saturday. We still have about 30 minutes left in the show. How about this one? Interesting ACC matchup to get the day started. Noon Eastern, Syracuse and North Carolina. As I like to say, North Kakalaki. I've got to thank Petey Pablo for coming up with that, and I've been using it ever since. We've got North Carolina. Exactly, DJ Big Boss. You know what I'm talking about. North Carolina minus 22, 65.5 the total here in this game. Look, maybe this is the one game of this entire board, weekend. Look, I'm very, very trepidatious and hesitant with overs early in the season. This is the one over of this entire week that's kind of caught my eye here, Syracuse and North Carolina, because you know what you get with Syracuse. We've seen Dino Babers here now, head coach for years. It's this breakneck, run a play as quickly as you can, get to the line of scrimmage as quickly as you can, rapid up-tempo offense. And this offense last year was grounded. Syracuse just had a huge fall off. Their offense fell off a cliff essentially last year. Remember, Dungy left. Tommy DeVito took over at the quarterback spot, and their offensive line was just a disaster. I mean, the opposing defensive fronts, they treated Tommy DeVito like a human piñata last year. They were just slamming that guy all over the football field. The good news is, at least they've got returning experience back there. Now, you could say it was a bad O-line last year. How good can the returning experience be if it's bad returning experience? But you got to think they can improve somewhat. DeVito now is second year as a starter now with Syracuse. Has nowhere to go but up, in my opinion, with this offense. And at least they're going to go very, very fast up-tempo, as they always do. And the North Carolina team, look, they look really good on both sides of the football. You got to give Mac Brown a ton of credit. I wasn't giving North Carolina much hope for his first season. I thought it would take time. But, boy, they had a tremendous first season under Mac Brown. They, of course, gave Clemson everything they could handle last year. It was a very good year for North Carolina. Sam Howell came onto the scene and had an awesome year, and now he's definitely in that Heisman Trophy conversation because he had a great year last year, and now they're expecting him to probably be even better here in his second full season as the starting quarterback. There's a lot to like here for North Carolina. Their offense has playmakers. They have a great offensive line that's very experienced, getting a lot of those guys back. Defense should be pretty good, but Syracuse should, I think, improve a little on offense. The problem for Syracuse here on defense for them is going to be, I like their secondary. Their secondary has two really good corners, but their defensive line and their linebacking core, the front seven's been gutted. It wasn't a great pass rush last year, and it could even be worse this year with all of the departures, especially along that defensive line for Syracuse. There's also a coordinator change here, a defensive coordinator change as well for Syracuse coming into this season. So there's a lot of concerns here right now for them being able to stop this high-octane UNC offense. I also considered laying the points with North Carolina, but I'm not in a rush to lay 22.5. The team's not used to this kind of pressure and expectation. Now people expect them to be one of the upper-tier programs in the ACC this season, and now you're laying 22.5 points in your first game, and you didn't have any practices. North Carolina, one of the teams that did not have any practices prior to this first game. So it is going to be something that's challenging for this Tar Heels team going into this game, potentially from that standpoint. I wouldn't want to go against them. I still lean because Syracuse certainly has a long way to go, especially on defense. I think they're really going to have a tough time getting any pass rush on Howell and that offensive line of the Tar Heels. So my first thought was over the total here, 65.5. It looks like there was a chance of showers for Chapel Hill Saturday, but it's going to be very slight. The weather should hold off, and most of the rain is going to be late afternoon, and that's important. When you check these weather forecasts, make sure you do the hourly forecast because this is a noon game, Eastern time in Chapel Hill Saturday. Most of the rain in the forecast for Chapel Hill Saturday is going to come late in the day. The game will be over by then. So I think it'll still be mostly a dry forecast for that game. Anyway, I like it over the total. I think we'll get some points there. That's the one over I like this week. I'm pulling back the reins on overs other than that one game. Let's start with DJ this time. Syracuse, North Carolina, a good matchup in the ACC.
Oh, that's a nasty sandwich you got right there, Ian. Syracuse was just distasteful last year. I love Mac Brown, and everything they're doing over there in North Carolina, but laying those many points, that's distasteful as well. So I couldn't jump on either side of that right there. I have to see what's going on in Syracuse. Syracuse, there's no reason. I know as college football bettors, we like to stick on the side of tradition, especially when coach has been around for a year. But there's no real reason for them to jump back on the horse and that they fell off, and there was no real reason for them to fall off the horse. So I think there's some things to be explained over there, but not 22 points worth of it. Even though I love Mac Brown and everything, but they were North Carolina was really fueled at the beginning of the season. They had their peaks and valleys and stuff at some point, but they played some really good ball. And if I had to make a bet on it, I'd probably just have to go ahead and lay the points. But I definitely see a little interest on the side on the total over there. 65 is a little high, and I don't know about an over. If you can explain the over right there, how does Syracuse score points? Mac Brown and them over there, they don't lack too much on defense. They play ball all the way around. So, and it's not like they just high flying, throwing in the air. They go out and earn all their yards, on the ground, and they're like a balanced offense. So I don't think that it gets over 65 in that game. They play with a little respect in there. Syracuse, Division I team, they're gonna hit the field as men, But when it goes down the line, North Carolina is gonna be too much pressure for them. So if Syracuse can hold them off the scoreboard for just a little bit at the beginning, then there we go. That's our under right there. So I like the under in that one, but I wouldn't bet it yet. I'm just leaning there. I wouldn't bet it yet, but nasty game right there.
All right, nasty game. Yeah, like I say, I'm cautious with overs, but this is the one because Syracuse does have that quick strike ability, and North Carolina definitely does. And Syracuse, I think the only wave of their defense that I really like is their secondary, but their pass rush is lacking, and there's going to be time, I think, for Howell to throw the ball. Connor Mack, are you going to get involved, and do you have any initial leans or thoughts with Syracuse UNC?
Yeah, I'm pumping the brakes, on the side and the total here. 22.5 points right now. I love what Mac Brown's doing with North Carolina. He had a really good year last year. Sam Howell, just what a season. He had 38 touchdowns, 6 or 7 picks. Unreal. So I just can't see Syracuse covering that. It's a total layoff for me. I have no feel right now for the first week of the season. It's just a tough one for me to go at.
I think it's true. I mean, all I've heard leading into this season, not all I've heard because college football has been, we didn't even know if there was going to be college football, but a lot of the people that are talking college football, media pundits, people writing that are scribes for college football, talking about the potential for North Carolina. And it seems like they're that hot team. They're that hype team right now. And hype teams laying 22.5 in the first game of the season, not something I'm interested in. I lean in that direction, but I'm not pulling the trigger week one with that burden of expectation suddenly now on this Tar Heels program. Big Ragu, what do you say here? UNC Syracuse.
That's a no go for me either way. When I seen the 20, I was like, I started peeling back the game a little bit, and I know that Syracuse has a bunch of new moving parts, and they are the hurry-up style offense with Babbers, and we know NC can score points. But are both these defenses that bad that they're going to put up that kind of points, or you think it's more tempo related? Me personally, I just think Syracuse is a bad football team, and the only way this game in my book goes over is that Carolina's going to have to score at least 6 touchdowns, and then the other team's going to have to score at least 3 touchdowns. So I don't know, and I don't think they're going to best them. I'm not going to say they're not going to best them, but I'm not going to put faith in Carolina to score better than 3 touchdowns to cover the number. So if they falter, if North Carolina falters, this game goes nowhere near being over because I don't think Syracuse is going to put up the points. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's the big question because I've heard a lot of people excited about this. The Syracuse offense is going to be better, but again, we've not seen this. We've only seen a couple of practices for all these teams. Putting it into a game situation and putting it into practice in an actual game against a really good opponent, that's going to be the true telltale sign